Hello learner, welcome to my video lecture on computer networks and security. In this video, we will be discussing about IPv6, its header format and some of the features of IPv6. In the early 1990s, the Internet Engineering Task Force began an effort to develop a successor to the IPv4 protocol. A prime motivation for this effort was the realization that the 32-bit IP address, that is IPv4, space was beginning to be used up. With the new subnets and IP nodes being attached to the internet and being allocated unique IP addresses at the breathtaking rate. To respond to this need for a large IP address, a new IP protocol, that is IPv6, was developed. So IPv6 is an internet layer protocol for packet switched internet networking, and it provides end-to-end datagram transmission across multiple IP networks. We can say that IPv6 is an successor to the IPv4 protocol. We have already studied IPv4 and IPv4 addressing in the previous course, that is 18 CS 46 data communication, in the 4th semester. And we have seen that IPv4 uses 32-bit address, whereas IPv6 helps us to address each and every node in an internet by using 128-bit address length. And along with this, IPv6 also provides other features like inbuilt security, and it also simplifies the processing of packets by removing some of the unwanted fields in the header. The first and foremost thing what we need to learn in IPv6 is its datagram format. The designer has thought to simplify the datagram format to speed up the processing of each fields. And here all fields are fixed size. Whenever we compare IPv4 and IPv6 fields of the datagram or header, some of the fields are kept the same, some of the fields in IPv6 are dropped, and some of the fields of IPv4 has been replaced, and some of the fields are newly added. If we consider the version field, it is same as your IPv4, and some of the fields like header length and ID flags are removed in the IPv6 header format, and some of the fields like datagram length, that is payload length, next header and hop limit, and also traffic classes. So these are the fields which are added or the replaced from IPv4. Those things we will study whenever we see the datagram format. And one field in the IPv6 has been newly added, that is flow label. The diagram shows you the simplified IPv6 datagram format, which includes several fields like version field, traffic class, flow label, payload length, next header, hop limit, and source and destination address. As I told, IPv6 provides 128-bit address. That is why it provides 128 bits of source address and destination address. And one important feature of IPv6 is IPv6 has fixed 40 byte of header length. One important field of IPv6 is flow label. IPv6 has an elusive definition of flow. That means we can identify each flow differently. According to RFC 1752 and 2460, it states that we can able to label a different packets belonging to particular flow for which the sender requests a special handling, such as providing a special quality of service or real-time service. For example, if you consider audio and video, we need to treat each flow differently. On the other hand, if you consider traditional applications such as file transfer and email, these might not be treated as flows. It is possible that the traffic carried by high priority users, for example, who pay better for better services, might also be treated as a flow. That means in IPv6 or using IPv6, we can able to identify a flow for better quality of service using the flow label field of IPv6 header. The first field of IPv6 header is version field. This is a 4-bit field which identifies the IP version, and in the case of IPv6 the value will be always 6. The next field is traffic class, which is an 8-bit field which is similar to TOS field of the IPv4. That means types of service. The main difference between traffic class and flow label field is flow label identifies a flow, whereas traffic class identifies a datagram in a flow. The next field is payload length. This identifies the number of bytes which is included immediately after the 40-byte datagram header. That is nothing but this identifies the length of the data which is attached to the datagram. The next field of the IPv6 is next header. So this field identifies the protocol to which the content of this datagram will be delivered. So normally it will be TCP or UDP. Sometimes it will be the extension header which is added to the particular datagram of IPv6. The next field is hop limit. The content of this field are decremented by 1 by each router that forwards the datagram. If the hop limit count reaches 0, then the datagram will be discarded by the router. That means normally this particular field is used to avoid circulation of datagram for more than certain period of time. So this is similar to TTL of IPv4. The next fields are source and destination address. The length of source and destination address is 128-bit. And the last field is data, so which includes actual data or payload, whatever we call, which is belonging to the IPv6 datagram. When the datagram reaches its destination, the payload will be removed from the IP datagram and passed on to the protocol specified in the next header field. We can also include more amount of data in the IPv6. So those data which includes higher than some threshold is called as jumbo payload. We have some of the features of IPv6 like flexible support for options. Even though option field is removed in IPv6, we have separate headers called as extension headers, which is used for different purposes. The next feature is flow label capability. We have seen that there is a new field in IPv6 header which is called as flow label to identify a packet flow that requires a special quality of service. And IPv6 provides built-in security which provides authentication and confidentiality of datagram, and it also supports for jumbo payloads to transfer large packets. That means whenever the payload length is above 64 kilobytes, then those payloads are called as jumbo payloads. So these can be supported by using extension headers. The last but one feature of the IPv6 is fragmentation. That means in IPv6 we can able to fragment the packet only at the source node. We cannot fragment the packet in the intermediate routers or nodes. The source should check the minimum maximum transmission unit, that is MTU, along the path from source to destination. The last feature of the IPv6 is no checksum field. That means if you observe the IPv6 header, there is no checksum field. So this is removed so that we can able to reduce the packet processing time in a router, because we already provide the error detection and correction feature in the transport layer. So that is why, so this particular feature is removed from the IPv6. So these are the some of the important IPv6 features. With this, I stop the discussion on IPv6. We have discussed about the features of IPv6, its header format, and the difference between header of the IPv4 and IPv6. So thank you for watching. We'll meet in the next video.